When we work with the tight ends and fundamentals, it is important that we understand that their job is challenging, that at times within our offense, we ask them to be wide receivers. At times we ask them to be tackles in terms of what we ask them to do along the line of scrimmage. And we have to be alert and aware of that. Our stance is a balanced three-point stance where the tight end has a little bit more weight forward than an offensive tackle. There's no or limited stagger in his stance. And we have just a little bit more of our weight up on our toes. But we've got to be able to work out of our stance and become a runner right away, as is seen in this drill, where the tight ends get in their stance and out of their stance, just come out and run. Just physically, your base as a runner becomes narrow, and just being comfortable in and out of their stance in this drill. I keep the board in there so that it really just sets up the next drill. Their eyes are up. We use a dominant hand stance. We have worked with people that have been in that stance, and on the right side use a right-handed stance, on the left side use a left-handed stance, but for the most part we use a dominant hand stance. To make the transition into a blocker, we shorten their footwork and widen their base, and we call it a power run. So they'll work out of their stance and take a lead step in a direction. This is a lateral lead to the right, widening their base and running in shorter steps with a wider base. Would like them, for the most part, to keep their feet on the ground through the run, and it really is getting them in position to be blockers. Blockers, you have to, as a blocker, you have to shorten your footwork, and we like to, when we do this, run swinging our arms from the shoulders, not extending our arms from the elbow, keeping the elbows tight to the body, and working with smaller footwork, trying to skim the grass as we run. We'll get them into a fit position, and they'll power run from the fit position. The fit position has their face mask right down the middle of the defender, and their hands set underneath the shoulder pad, the lower frame of the shoulder pad of the defender. And we'll start this on a sound command. We'll finish it on a whistle, and we regain the initial fit position when we finish on the whistle. The reason for that is that it really teaches their body what the fit position feels like, and it's something that we believe in at Rutgers. Motor memory: the more your body's in a position, the more comfortable it is in that fit position. So we'll start on a sound command, we'll finish on a whistle to get into the initial fit, which is right here, where there's bend in the ankles, knees, and hips. The eyes are up, there's a bend at the ankles, knees, and hips. The hands are still stabilized at the lower part of the shoulder pads of the defender. And really the merit to regaining the fit is that your body learns how to work in the fit. When we make a transition to working at a linebacker level, the thing that we feel it is important is that as they release to move towards the linebacker, they have a natural tendency to raise up. And right before we make contact with the linebacker, we want to shorten our footwork into a power run so that it naturally widens our base, and in widening our base, lowering our hips, and that normally when we work to a linebacker, we give them a specific aiming point. In this drill, it's really the midline of the defender. And from then on, it becomes a power run to a fit position, regaining the fit with the first whistle. Out of the three-point stance, lead footwork, narrow the base, right prior to contact, widening the base again, lowering the hips, and making contact, and it becomes the power run drill that we just did. A lot of what we do with the tight ends in blocking skills are in combination with the tackles. There are two specific types of combinations that we use, a zone combination and a gap combination. Zone combination has the tackle working out to the tight end. The gap combination has the tight end working down into the tackle. The zone combination is a combination that we use on our outside zone concepts. It's a temporary double team, in this case a right tight end with a right tackle. Tight end's footwork is related to him doing what he needs to do to gain initial leverage on the defender. If the defender is head up, the tight end will actually engage. His aiming point is the outside number or play side number of the down lineman. We'll always have the down lineman do something in terms of reaction, whether he continues to play straight through the tight end or move in one particular direction. And we'll also ask the linebacker to do a specific skill. The tackle will open his hips, and his aiming point is the midline of the down defender, and he will ultimately work to take over the block of the tight end. The tight end is taught not to leave the tackle until he feels the tackle within the block. This is moving to the left. It's a little bit of an extended first step by the tight end. We're really talking small footwork, getting that second step in the ground, making contact with the defender. Now the tackle is really stepping underneath himself with that first step, but his hip angle is pretty good in that he's going to get to the defender while the tight end is still engaged and take over. And as the tight end leaves, he has to be ready to take on the linebacker. Normally the aiming point for him on the linebacker is the play side number. And this is pretty good quickness by both the tight end and the tackle who's taking over. Another view of it. Here the tackle's a little bit late in terms of getting off the ball. We try our best with the tight end. This is a pretty good illustration of it. Keep his shoulders and his hips square. And as he comes to the second level, work to take away the angle that the linebacker who's pursuing is taking to run down the play. So we want to flatten out our track. This is a good illustration of the tight end flattening out his track and working to the second level. And again, the tackle working to take over the tight end would like the tackle to get into the line of scrimmage player just a little bit sooner. Another look moving to the right. This is where we've designated movement by the down defender. He's going to move inside so that the tight end with his initial footwork feels the defender leave, and the tight end's able to react. And this is a pretty good angle for the tight end to react to intercept the linebacker at his angle. And again, the double team becomes non-existent because of the movement of the down defender. We work to finish all of these drills on a whistle. We'll start them on a sound command. Another look with movement. Now the movement is the defender working to the outside. We tell the tackle to step, take 3 lateral steps, and if any part of the defender is still showing as he makes his decision to work to the next level, he's taught to put a hand on that down defender and make sure that he stays on the tackle. The tackle should adjust to the next level and flatten out his footwork, take on a linebacker. Both the tight end and the tackle in this case have play side aiming points as their references. We will utilize the same combination concepts and bring the tight end in motion. It's something that's been very effective for us, and it's something that we drill pretty consistently. This is a pretty close angle, but you'll see that tight end is coming to a point where he would be basically at the normal tight end split. The only difference here is that he's back off the ball, and he can't be leaning forward prior to the snap, or it'll be an illegal motion. But the zone concept remains the same. Tight end works to stabilize the defensive end, and tackle works to take it over. Tight end's angle and his hips and shoulders stay square. His angle gives him the ability to adjust to the next level and take the linebacker on at his angle. Tight end's aiming point is the outside number, the play side number of the linebacker. The tackle in taking over, his initial aiming point is the midline of the defender, but he wants to take over the play side number as well. It's pretty good quickness on both parts. We simulate the motion. He'll settle his footwork, and if the combination is taking place with defenders in this relationship, he wants to end his motion just outside the tackle, put the defensive end on the tackle, and keep your hips and shoulders square so that you're in a position where you can effectively adjust to the next level. Here's a better picture from a different angle. This is the tight end moving from his right to his left, settling in motion. He should take his motion just a little bit wider, and I think it's an illustration of he spends just a little bit too much time with that defensive end prior to climbing to the next level, and instead of being in a position where he can take on the next level defender with an outside number aiming point, it's more he has to ride him from the inside out. He adjusts his landmark, his aiming point at the end there. Another illustration, tight end moving from the right to the left, a little bit better in terms of the end alignment by the tight end. One thing that he wants to try to avoid is getting too much involvement with his outside arm. It's pretty good footwork by the tackle, taking it over, the tight end putting the defensive end on the tackle, and then working to the linebacker and working at the level of the linebacker to take away a play side number aiming point and working to finish. Another shot from the ground level. This is a better job by the tight end in terms of the end of his motion. We'll also work this with movement. It has been a very successful concept for us, and a very good adjustment by the tight end and the tackle in terms of taking away play side number leverage. The other combination concepts that we use are gap combinations. They're used on a play that really defines what we do offensively, our power play. It is a combination that occurs between the tight end and the tackle. And in this case, the right tackle and right tight end will be combo blocking a defensive end who's on an outside alignment of our tackle. And they're going to work to the linebacker level. This is a very temporary double team. The technique of the tackle is an inside tough step with his inside foot, and a step and lift with his the outside half of his body. His aiming point is the inside number of a defender who's aligned on his outside shoulder. The tight end's aiming point is the inside number as well. So you'll see the tight end narrow his split. He'll open his hips with a slight drop step to his left, and he'll work to take over the block of the offensive tackle. This little twitch before the snap count is really my fault in terms of the cadence, but I think it's a pretty good reflection of what the technique we ask the tackle to do. Tough step, he might drop this just a little bit too much, but the lift really enables the tight end to get into the block. The tight end's ultimate alignment or ultimate finish is through the midline of the defender, working to take over his inside half with inside hat placement and inside hand pressure. As the tackle adjusts to the linebacker level, he's going to eliminate any penetration. He wants to get his helmet across the linebacker who's playing downhill and really ultimately finish moving him laterally. It's a pretty good picture of the quickness. The same drill. The thing that tight end does here is he really cuts his split almost too much so that in order to step without stepping on the tackle's outside foot, he has to take a little bit too much of a drop step. That's a pretty good picture of the tough step by the tackle and the lift. It's really a good finish by the tight end taking over the inside half. Like the tackle, once he makes contact, to run his feet and drive the defender to the inside. Same drill as a younger tackle, but the tough step and lift. You can see how temporary the tackle and his block is. And that's the same tight end, just maybe a little bit too much of a drop step here to open his hips. But that's a pretty good finish by both. Tackle getting his eyes across the front, adjusting his helmet to eliminate any penetration, and the tight end taking over the defensive end. And a pretty good finish by both. We'll also teach gap combinations, our tray block, in a situation where the defensive end is aligned head up on our tackle or moves to inside the tackle on the snap. When we do this, the tackle's footwork is the same. He'll tough step. He'll begin to lift. When he feels the movement, he'll helmet adjust, putting his helmet to the inside, and take over. Now the tight end will continue to open his hips, and once he feels movement by the defensive end, he will drive both his hands into the near hip of the defensive end, which in essence puts the defensive end on the tackle so the defensive end cannot react back to the outside. It also flattens the track of the tight end and puts him in a position where he can get his helmet underneath the linebacker and make the adjustment. So obviously no true double team here, but you can see the tight end delivered to both hands to the hip. It puts the defensive end back on the tackle and really enables us to defend to attack the B gap with the offensive tackle, attack the C gap with the tight end moving to the linebacker, getting underneath the linebacker, and making the linebacker bubble over the top of the play. In most cases, the play runs inside the tight end in these situations. Again, tough step lift, helmet adjusts by the left tackle in this case. Tight end gets both hands on the hip of the defender and works to the next level. And we really want to work to get our hat underneath the defender, inside number aiming point, and ride him up the field. It's a pretty good finish by both. In our man scheme, in isolation or lead draw, there are certain alignments defensively that necessitate us using man combinations. In this case, when we get to the line of scrimmage, if the man combination is called, both the tackle and the tight end work with their near foot. All right, so that in this case, a tight end on the right stepping with his right foot, tackle on the right stepping with his right foot. And because of the alignment of the defender, the tight end has an inside number aiming point. The tackle will use his outside hand to put the tight end, put the defensive end on the tight end, and he'll adjust to the linebacker level. This would be an isolation play or a lead draw play being run to the right. So the ball is inside both, so they both have inside number aiming points. It's one of the few times that both the tight end and the tackle are stepping with the inside foot or the near foot. Tight end stepping with his left, the tackle stepping with his right. Another illustration, this now to the left. Tackle's just a little bit late off the ball. This is pretty good technique by the tight end. You can see he'll throw his punch into the defender, keeping his elbows tight to the body, trying to work to control the inside number. Tackle's a little bit late and a little bit turned. Key thing for this combination is that both players keep their hips and shoulders square so that they can adjust to movement. All right, we don't use this combination a lot, but it is one that when we need to use it, normally the defender we're working to the second level is inside the tight end, so that the tight end has to take over the down lineman, and the offensive tackle is going to work to the next level. It could be a linebacker level, it could be to the safety level. We want to get inside leverage and maintain integrity in terms of leverage in relationship to where the ball is. Next drill simulates line of scrimmage releases, and we put tight ends at all four corners of the cone period where we're breaking off a specific defender. Again, changing up where he catches the ball, all right? Hitting all body parts when you catch ball. Close order catching. Right, the more they can catch the ball in these drills, these fundamental drills, right, eliminates the need for a quarterback being there all the time. And what it does is, as you combine these fundamental drills, it gives you more than just running ball drills. But this is a release, pushing off defenders. Anytime we use a push-off technique, we do so with a bent arm, so it's not viewed as offensive interference. And it also gives us leverage away from a linebacker. In most cases, we use this technique primarily against linebackers. The next drill we'll do would be routes that are run with quarterbacks. And it's very important that you do enough of these, because within the passing game, they're going to be catching balls thrown by your quarterbacks. It creates a sense of timing that also gives them better balls to catch than the balls that I've thrown to them. But we'll go into this and just line them up in lines and run routes, usually against some type of leverage defender, at times against a line of scrimmage release, but always working breaks. And you can see we ask them working to finish. All right, finishing up the field with ball security. I hope that this fundamental tape is something that will be of benefit to you in teaching your tight ends the fundamentals of playing both as a blocker and as a receiver. Thank you.